Hey, what's up, and welcome to the All-In Networker Podcast. This podcast started because myself, Dan McCabe, had a question. The question was, how do you build a big team fast in network marketing? So I asked a good mentor of mine, Dr. David Pietsch, who is a Hall of Famer, 250,000 customers in his downline, tens of thousands of representatives, and he just started spilling the beans. Started telling me everything, not just what worked in the past, but what he is doing in the future to really grow and build his business. I said, hey doc, this needs to be a thing. And he was like, what do you mean? I'm like, we're going to turn this into a podcast. So here it is, the secret straight from his mouth into your ears. Whatever we can do to help you and the industry grow is what we're here for. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Let's get started. Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to the All-In Networker Podcast. My good friend, Dr. David Pietsch, if you're watching this on YouTube, now has a fancy picture behind him. All kinds of good decor back there. It's really trying to fill up the Minnesota house there, aren't you, Doc?
Well, it's been painful, Dan. We just moved into a new house here in Minneapolis, and moving, number one, is tiring and stressful. And, I'm stuck in the basement here now with my three daughters consuming all other levels of the house. This house is kind of straight up and down compared to my Las Vegas house, which is spread out all over the place. So it's a whole different ball game now, Dan. There's really nowhere to run from these three little monsters. Daughters of mine, but we're going to make do. We'll see how it works, and we'll work on different backdrops. My wife's trying all sorts of things, and I keep saying no, but whatever. It's all good. We'll bang stuff out, whatever.
Yeah, the content's what's important. Most people will be listening to this on the podcast, so they won't even see it. But heck, if
you're missing out, I'm having a good hair day.
All right. Well, if you are listening on the podcast, you should see this picture behind him. Go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. Shameless plug.
You'll never forget it.
Yeah, lesson 101 for you network marketers out there. Shameless plug your other platforms.
Okay.
Yep. So, all right. Well, last week I kind of brought up this topic, but then you had something else in mind, which I really liked. So we went with your idea. So this week we're going to go with my idea. And this kind of came from me talking to one of my other business mentors I talk to from time to time, where we're just kind of going through an exercise about setting up kind of my perfect day. So today's topic is it's around goals and setting up that perfect day. And I think a lot of people get these misperceptions when they go to that initial network marketing meeting, when they initially get excited and they do see those pictures from the inexperienced network marketer that is flashing, yachts and Lamborghinis, fancy trips and things like that. Yeah, we want all that to be a part of maybe we don't want all that. We don't need the Lamborghinis and yachts, but we want the vacations. We want the memories. We do want some of the stuff when we are successful. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the end goal is being able to live, in general, your perfect day each day. And what does that look like? Because your perfect day is not always going to be on the yacht. It's not always going to be rolling out of the cabana onto the beach. I started talking to her when she was asking me about what do I want my day to look like? I want my day. I want to wake up early. I want to get 2 hours of self-health time, man. I want to work out. I want to meditate. I want to do that. I want to help my kids appropriately with their schoolwork and get ready for school. I want to spend 3 to 4 hyper-productive hours working. And I want to be able to take the afternoon and go screw around with the kids again and the family and coach baseball at night. To me, that's my ideal day. So that's kind of the direction I want to take, is how can people define that day for themselves and look at their goals more like that, as opposed to just saying, hey, my goal is $1 million in the bank. But I'm sure you've done tons of different goal setting exercises. Maybe you haven't done it just the way I was kind of talking about it and explaining, but what are your kind of general thoughts on your mentality when you were launching your business on where you wanted to get it?
Yeah, well, I can tell you right off the bat, I've been in network marketing now for 13 years, and I can tell you that this is going to change, over time. For me, thinking back 13 years ago when I was a single guy, and, what I wanted then compared to what I want now, it's different. But I started out, where I am today, that was in the back of my mind. It was kind of one of the reasons why I did what I did. I wanted to get married. I wanted to have a bunch of daughters, and that has come to fruition. I want 12 daughters. Everybody knows I got 3, so I got 9 more to go, Dan. But when I first started doing network marketing, honestly, I just wanted to get out of chiropractic because I was so sick and tired of doing it. I was so sick and tired of having to deal with the insurance companies and having to go to work every single day. And I just decided, hey, I'm going to do something about it. And I started with the end in mind And for me, it was, I just want to have enough money coming in so I don't have to practice chiropractic anymore. And, I dreamt of moving out of Minneapolis because I hate the tundra. I hate the cold. I hate the gloom, and I like being here in the summer. It's cool. I like it now. It's really beautiful out there, Dan, but I didn't want to have to be stuck here all the time. And so, for me, I started with the end in mind, which I wanted just residual income higher than my residual bills. And I worked backwards with little tiny goals inside my network marketing business, just to plod along to eventually get to the top. And as you talk about these people that come to network marketing presentations and they sign up with their cousin and their, whatever, and they really have no intention of treating it like a real business and being a professional. That's why most people don't make it in anything. They just don't take things seriously. But for the ones that do come to the table and say, I'm going to do this as a profession, they tend to win because there's enough training that's out there where you can really learn the skills on what you really need to do. And, our job is really just to teach people that it's worth it to get good at this, because I believe that it gives you the best quality of life that's pretty much out there, for the average person. I'd much rather have a average person with desire than some super successful person that is well networked but doesn't really want to have the lifestyle at the end that, most of us want, which is really just time and money freedom. So, setting goals along the way, crucial. It's got to have a date on it and it's got to be achieved. You got to achieve these goals. You can't just, willy-nilly write them down. You got to make it happen.
All right, absolutely. And, you talk about the cousin and going to the meeting and they leave and they're not professionals. They don't intend to really take the business seriously. And there's nothing wrong. We have these people, we all have them on our teams. We all have them come through our lives and our world. And to them, network marketing is just a little different. And we can recognize that. For them, it's entertainment. The entertainment of the group. It's the entertainment of getting excited. It's the entertainment of dreaming a little bit. But that's not what's going to make them the money. They like to think about it. They don't believe it necessarily, even though they like to think about it. And they don't set the goals to make those things happen. I also like what you said there that, the initial goals was just to get out of chiropractic, which does go back to kind of what I was saying, where you just had a different vision for your perfect day. Your perfect day wasn't partying all day, every day by any means. Your perfect day was not having to work 12 hours a day or whatever you were working. I'm sure it was close to that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And being able to, have a wife, 3 daughters, 9 more on the way. Does Savvy know?
Yes. Sure. That's why I'm in the basement, Dan.
Yeah, right. What if a son accidentally works his way into the middle?
Yeah. I've never run that tape in my mind, I guess, but I guess we'd still love him.
Yeah, there you go. So you were setting up, the vision was, essentially what you worked towards and you got. I know on one of the previous episodes or one of the trainings we did, maybe it was one of the video, I don't know where you said, I've heard you say so many things at this point, but it was, so where they come from, I don't always remember, but it was to the effect that you achieved more than you thought was possible in the beginning. I think in the beginning, your intentions of being able to get out of chiropractic, not have to live in Minnesota, those are relatively, modest goals. Really, they are. Replace that income that you had there, which was replaceable through network marketing, be able to afford a couple houses, one in Minnesota, one down south, wherever, maybe you already picked out Vegas, not have any real debt and live a comfortable life. Sounds like the angle you were going for at the time.
Well, but you can also throw in there, I wanted to set every record in the company and be the highest paid person in the company. So, just small goals we threw in there as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you did. And you did set the big records in the company. So you had a different level of mentality, but the ultimate lifestyle.
But it wasn't that when I very first signed up, I signed up not to do that. I signed up as a courtesy. I had no intention of really building it. It was just going to be, okay, I'm in this thing, maybe I'll put a few people in at the very beginning, but then it wasn't, about 2 months later, maybe I made that decision. Okay, I'm really going to do it. And from that moment on, the switch was flipped and it was full throttle. And I just expected all those things to happen. I was doing the activity. I had the posture. I had the mojo. If you listen to my top guys, they say they joined me because of that confidence that I had, that I was a person that knew where I was going, and that was very attractive to them. And I'm telling you, that's what it is. People want to follow that person.
100. I mean, that is a podcast episode in and by itself. We might have even done something around that. I'm sure we did at some time, belief and vision and things like that. I mean, they're huge. They're pretty much the backbone for everything, for success in this industry, 100%. And you need that belief in so many different factors. So you set a lot of those goals. You wanted to set and break the record. Breaking the record, it's a big goal. It's a monumental goal. Whether new people coming in, they set their goals to break the record, or it doesn't have to be break the record, but do something monumental, because whatever you do at the beginning becomes your story for the rest of your career within that company. And that was the intention at that point, right?
1,000,000%. I mean, I can't tell you how many people have come in and told me they're going to break my record. I know that there's been 2 million people that came in after me that didn't break it. So, we'll see how long it keeps going. I mean, it's been standing there for 13 years, but yeah, I mean, look, everybody's got different goals. Everybody's got different aspirations, but I would just, like, for me, my super complex goal setting back then, Dan, was on my fridge. I just had how many people I'm going to have on my team in the next 30 days. And I just had to make that happen. And then once that happened, I'd rip that piece of paper off, put a new one on. Here's what I got to do in the next 30 days. And I'm telling you, I'm tired today as we record this podcast. But I can tell you that back then I was more tired, because I was seeing patients and I was building my business, and I had to achieve these goals. I put myself in a frame of mind. I'm not going to tell you what I was thinking, but I'm just telling you, I put myself in a frame of mind where these goals have got to be obtained.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. And so you broke them down. I mean, we go all the way forward. You got kind of your perfect day, you got your dream lifestyle, but you're breaking it down into 30-day goals. And yeah, and I've had this conversation with some people recently that get hung up on what to do on a day-to-day basis. And when we're launching new online marketing strategies, campaigns, and things like that within the business, even I get overwhelmed with the amount of things to do sometime. I know where we want to go and I see the big picture, but we get to this point where we almost have to set daily goals as well. And the daily goals could be task done. It could be activity done. You can control your activity. You can't always control your results, but you can control your activity. If you control your activity, the results are going to happen one way or another. So setting up even just those daily goals, I mean, you and I've talked about this before. If somebody really wanted to beat you to the top rank in your company or break that record, what's the minimum goal for activity a day? It's 50 exposures a day in the team or something like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've changed our comp plan so many different times to get there, but it's just all about exposures. I mean, for me, my initial goal, collectively over the course of the first year was I wanted to have 10,000 exposures on my team.
Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Dan. And I want to take 30 seconds to introduce you to networkerpro.io, because right now they got a free 14-day trial going on. If you've learned one thing listening to Dr. Pietsch and myself, it's that systems and automation are the way to build a big team. The way to get the big whales on your team is to have proper systems and automation in your business, and Networker Pro can do that for you. You can build all of your websites, your lead generation funnels, your email automation. It's a complete CRM. The calendar is built right into it, so you don't need to integrate with a different calendar. It is all right there. And right now you can go test it out on a 14-day trial for absolutely nothing. So I'm really excited about it. I'm fortunate that I was able to partner with some developers and have them build a software that became the backbone for what I believe is the #1 network marketers tool out there on the market today. All right, let's get back to the podcast.
For me, my initial goal, collectively over the course of the first year was I wanted to have 10,000 exposures on my team. Mm-hmm. So that was the overall goal that I was shooting for. And then I had my monthly goals, but I also had weekly challenges where my upline used to send me the guys that started at the very beginning, 2 years ahead of me. I'm in their downline, and he would send me, how many sales they were putting in every week, and then how many I was putting in every week. And they were always putting in more than me, and it used to drive me bonkers. I hate losing, so I really shifted gears. So I started beating those guys. And once I made a decision, I shifted gears. I had some jackwagon, I lived in Minneapolis at that time. I had some jackwagon from Arizona come out to one of the big events we had going on here. He gets on stage. I'm sitting in the front row, right dead center. And the guy calls me out in front of my whole team. This is like way in the early beginning, Dan, like I maybe had like 1,200 people on my team or something like that. And this guy, he was putting in way more sales than me every single week, big time. And he calls me out to like a 12-week challenge. And, right in front of all my people. And I'm just like, I have to say yes, or I look like I'm scared of this person. And so I made a decision. I'm not going to take my boat out anymore. I'm just going to really focus on the business. And it was that competitiveness and willing to sacrifice things that I like doing for that little season of my life that not only did we beat that guy 12 out of the 12 weeks of the contest, but I just kept going after the contest. And I kept doing that for a long time. In fact, I've never really gone boating since. My boat still is in my wife's dad's barn down in Waseca, Minnesota. I think still sitting there all these years later, because I don't miss doing it. I have all the time in the world now. We got tons of money. We can do whatever we want to do, but it's just like I've learned to occupy my time doing other things.
Yeah. So duly noted. Don't buy a boat because I'm just going to let it sit. So that makes, your life changed. Your priorities changed. You got married. You had daughters. I mean,
we like living in Vegas, and there's not a lot of water out there.
Yeah, there's one lake. It's by a dam. Heard of it sometime.
Yeah.
So there's other things to do there, I'm sure. So you got all that kind of set up. You ended up getting to where, I do bet that back in the beginning, somewhere in your mindset was, I'm going to build this one time and I'm going to go boating every day.
Yeah, I mean, if we're just telling the truth, I mean, I still have this as a goal, and I think that I'm going to do this in the not too distant future. In fact, I'm going to call it out right here, right now. I would say that probably like 1,000 days from now, the Pietsch Nation is going to just move this whole operation, and we're moving to Hawaii. That's what I really want to do. That's what I've always wanted to do. And I've got that in the back of my mind now. So that I think that's going to be the plan. But, I did have go to the beach in the back of my mind, truly, because I love going to Hawaii, as everybody knows. Been there so many times. It's kind of all together. I mean, there's just little stepping stones, and there's things that you have to do along the way. But, I'm a dreamer. And I think a lot of people have stopped dreaming. And I would just tell you, I can't tell you, like, Dan, if somebody could go back and look at my career over the last 13 years, you could never script it out. Like, I talked to this person who talked to this person who knew this person and got this person in that ended up putting in 75,000 sales on my team. I mean, just all those little touch points and things that had to happen along the way. You could never, the possibilities are just truly endless. It's infinite. But all I can tell you is, as you stay in the zone and you keep doing the work and you keep growing and you keep leading and you keep, your confidence up and your charisma up, things just happen. Things just tend to fall into place. And, if you really want something bad enough, I think you'll just end up getting it sooner or later.
Yeah. And you break it down just the way you said. You break it down into those small daily, beyond just setting up the goals. You also have this competitive drive, with yourself, with your upline, with other leaders within the company, which is also helpful. That'd be an interesting topic to talk about sometime. But so it's kind of that other quality. So have you seen, within your team, maybe talk about the mental fortitude or what it's taken for some of the leaders on your team. What kind of mentality did they have when they were going to the top? Were they the same as you? Was it just you teaching them, or did they take a different approach to how they ran their days, their weeks, their months? Were they as competitive?
I would say that the handful of people that have really gone on like me and had just incredible success, the consistent $1 million a year plus residual income, year after year, huge organizations, gone on to be great trainers. Those guys, they have what I call just the natural it factor. Like one of the guys on my team, him really well, he's really never asked me any how-to question. He watched me do it over and over and over again and just kind of started saying the things I would say and the way that I would say it with the confidence that I would say it. And now he's just kind of, branded that to himself and got his own tweak on his style, but, the same drive behind it. There's hardly any people on my team that have really made it that I have to push. They're pushing themselves. And after a while, once I teach them how to do the business, all I do is make myself available to them. I don't call them. They can call me. If they want to talk every day, they can call me every day. If they want to talk to me once every 45 days, they can do that too. And they know that I'm here and I'll do anything for them. But I think the individuals, guys, gals, whatever it might be, that have, the cookies inside, they just naturally know how to do that. It's not that it can't be learned. This is why I'm just telling you, when you're doing your presentation, you don't need to talk about making millions of dollars. I'd much rather have you talk about making $500 a month to the average person who's broke, because the people that want to make millions of dollars, they already know that they can make millions of dollars. You don't have to tell them.
Yeah.
In fact, Dan was kind of talking about it, all these jack wagons that are out there showing their Lamborghinis and their watches and all this tomfoolery stuff. I mean, they're all broke as a joke. We all know it. They make a little money, they spend it on that kind of stuff. And it just, the people that you really want on your team, the people that really have integrity, the people that really are influencers in their community, that would give credibility to your whole organization, you're just going to turn them off and you won't get those people. So you're always going to be having to go after the bottom tier people that you can impress that are at a lower level than you. Or if you're a 5, these are 3s, 2s, and 1s that you're going after. Rather than if you're a 5 and you do things with integrity, you might pick up some of these 10s.
Yeah. And you get a few of those. And that's kind of the conversation I've been having with some different, I'm just going to call them influencers lately, that I've been talking to about the industry of network marketing, just helping them understand that you don't need as much as people think, but you need a few good people. So many people make this business so hard because they're constantly out there grinding, going after the 3, 4s, and 5s on such a regular basis. And the 3, 4s, and 5s, they're the ones that give you the hardest time.
Oh, yes, for sure.
They're the ones that question everything. They've got all the objections. Yeah. And they're the ones where What's that? Oh, I cut out a little bit there.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So the 3, 4s, and 5s, like I was saying, I'll repeat it in case it did cut out. We'll fix it in editing. Probably not. You're probably hearing it for a second time. They're the ones that give you the hardest time. They got the most objections. They worry about the cost the most. They really grill you about the industry of network marketing. Whereas if you can get over that mindset and go after a couple people with an audience that have credibility, they get this industry.
Yeah. I mean, you're exactly right. I used to always say that I've got about 12, 13, 15 really good people on my team. And not to de-edify any of those people, but I'm just telling you now that it's gone on even longer. I think it's about 5. I think I got about 5 really good people on my team, and that have been able to sustain it over a long period of time. And all of them, maybe with the exception of 1, have no background in something like this. They just learned how to do it. And, now I think they're as good as anybody in the world, but it's not a lot of people. It's you become one of those people, and then you stick with it and you really learn how to do this business so you can teach other people how to do it, the ones that really want to do it.
Yeah. And I just want to point out, because I know a lot of people from your team are probably going to listen to this podcast. If you're on Dr. Pietsch's team and you're listening to this, you're one of those 5.
Yeah. Of course I was talking about you.
Yeah, of course. So no, it's, the amazing thing about, what we're trying to accomplish here with this podcast is in some of our groups and things like that, is giving people an outlet to observe what some of your top leaders observed with how you built your business.
Go back to those people that, that are not in that top 5. They know about themselves that they're not in the top 5.
Yeah. They
know that they're not ready. They know that they haven't worked hard enough. They know that there's another level. They know it. So, we're not talking bad about them. We're just talking about it. We love everybody on our team, and that's network marketing, man. Not everybody has the same goals. Not everybody wants to go as high and as far as everybody else. And it doesn't mean that they're bad people. It means they have different priorities, and that's okay. Yep. Somebody that is on my team that has the potential to produce way more, but decides they maybe want to spend more time with their family or wife or sick parent or some other business. That's cool. That's great. We're not saying that these are bad people at all. I'm just telling you, for me, I've probably got 5 people that are really, truly all in and are really, really, really good at doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you find those people, you take care of them. And, it's great because it allows everybody else to watch them. it's, I know a lot of the people in the organization, things like that, and they see somebody like really taking off or spiking this year, like some people have. And, they message me and they're like, what's that guy doing? What's this guy doing? And you tell them. But at the end of the day, what do I really tell them? Like, I don't go and talk to some of those other people that are excelling within your group, within your business. I'm just watching them online, and you pick up everything they're doing just by watching them, which
they're working harder than you. That's what they're doing. They're working harder. They're doing income producing activities. That's what they're doing.
Exactly. And that's kind of what we talked about. So I'm going to bring this all the way back around to the very beginning when we're talking about goals. And we were talking about, what's your perfect day goal look like? And then we talked about your 30-day goals. And then we brought it back to like, what are your one-day goals? If you look at the people that are really winning and you talk to them about what they were doing, because you've told me some of these numbers before, it's, their daily goal is reach out to 40 people, or something like that, whatever that number is. Like personally reach out to 40 people and get people on your team to go personally do that and get enough people on your team doing that same activity every single day. You reach out to enough people, you know how many actual meetings you're going to get, how many exposures you're going to have, and it all just works its way backwards. So
it's all a numbers game. That's all it ever is.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, you're right. It's all a numbers game. I mean, in between the numbers, it's just about tweaking conversions and things like that. As you do more, you'll get better. I do like the one quote though, and I don't remember who said this, and you probably know, but you can always make up for skill with volume. Was it something like that? You can always make up for lack of skill with activity. That's what it was. What's that? That's Jim Rohn.
It's what you lack in talent, you can make up in effort.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are good looking and they are incredible presenters and, they have all this natural raw talent, but they're only showing one person a day. And, maybe you're ugly and you don't have that much talent, but you show 5 people a day, you're going to win.
Yeah. So, all right. Yeah. So you cut off for just a sec, but oh, well, I think StreamYard's fighting us a little bit today, but that's okay. I think we actually got it. So we're good. All right. Well, I love the topic of goals. I think it's so important to have them. For one, if your plan is, well, my goal is to get rich, you need to hone that one in a little bit. But if you can start putting some specificity around the day or, how you want your day to look way out in the future, like, why are you doing this? What's your day look like? Whose lives are you affecting? How's it affecting your life? What are you getting away from? Are you getting away from your chiropractic job? And then just break that down into those smaller goals that are going to get you there. I mean, we talked for a half hour about this, and it's really a pretty easy topic. Yeah. It's know where you want to go, work it backwards, break it down. End in mind.
Earl Nightingale said that you become what you think about all day long, and there's truth in that. Mm-hmm. So think about what it is that you really want and don't worry about how you're going to get there. And a lot of times you can't even see a path forward. You think, there's no way. And so you just kind of give up, but you've just got to step out on faith. And I'm just telling you, things can happen really fast. And when they do, it's fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. So, all right. On that note, I'm going to wrap this podcast up. So we're at about a half hour here. Appreciate everybody for jumping on. If you did not see David Pietsch's haircut today, go check us out on YouTube. Make sure you watch that. Subscribe there. We'd appreciate it. Anybody listening to us on Apple, make sure you like, subscribe, share. If you got some value out of this for some other people on your team that need to hear this message, because this was a powerful message today. So we appreciate you guys as always. And until next time, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot. Hey, thanks for listening to the All In Networker podcast. Dr. David Pietsch and I greatly appreciate it. If you receive some value or you know somebody that would receive some value, please share this episode with them. We want to pick up the entire industry, help serve the entire industry of network marketing. We believe that when other network marketers win, we all win. So on top of that, if you'd like to check out some of our free trainings, you can go to allinnetworker.com. Otherwise, please just rate, subscribe to this episode, this podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. We'd greatly appreciate it. And until next time, thanks a lot.